All right, welcome back to the Day One Perspective, guys. Tonight we are going to talk about our last Day One training day, and then we're going to discuss Jenay's pistol course, her women's only pistol course. So on February 15th was our last training day, right? Believe we had quite a few people. I think it was like 13 or 14 people show up. We're just going to discuss who did what and how it went.
So, I mean, honestly, when I showed up that morning, I was kind of looking at the clock and it was like 10 or 15 minutes before it was going to start. And there's like 2 or 3 people there. And I was like, that's fair. But
yeah.
The weather was not, the weather ended up being pretty good. But the weather was not looking promising that morning. Like it was raining when I was putting stuff in my car. So I was actually kind of surprised. I think we had like 20-ish signed up. So honestly, I didn't think I probably wouldn't have gone.
Just based on weather.
Yeah, just based on weather. So I was pretty surprised how many people showed up. But no, it turned out to be a good class. And then kind of the way we set it up is the people that had previous experience or comfortable with firearms stayed in the bay with me. And then I think 4 or 5 people went over to the bay with you.
I had 4.
4?
Okay. Yeah.
So four people that had either. It looked like some of them had never shot guns. I think one of them told me she had never shot a gun before.
Yeah. A couple had never shot a gun before, and then the other 2 maybe had shot a gun once or twice, but it was a long time ago. They didn't really remember.
Yeah. So anyway, we had Brandon
Rodis.
He did really good this weekend.
And
we're at Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona.
Last
I checked, he was going to finish 3rd or 4th in the 40 plus. He was fighting for 3rd place in 40 plus.
40 plus division.
It's usually pretty stacked.
This weekend in particular, the elite division wasn't too stacked. Kyle was there.
Yeah.
Devin Miller was there.
Yeah.
And I forgot somebody else, but those are really the only 2 names.
Right.
And I noticed there, but the men's 40 plus division, it was like Jason Deal, Drum won it. Then Jason Deal got 2nd or 3rd. But there was like 6 or 7 names that I noticed
that have all been on the podium.
Yeah. So it was a very competitive weekend for the 40 plus. And then Blair won the
Blair won.
Yeah. But anyway, we had I think Jen Gallagher, Brandon. Anyway, so
there's 3 I haven't written down.
There's everybody from people that never shot guns to like Brandon, Jen Gallagher that she was in 2nd or 3rd in the intermediate for a little while. But yeah, so it's pretty unique in that we have everybody, and I think everybody got a good class out of it. So
yeah, agreed. I think on my side of things, it was a cool experience to help them out. Like specifically, Leia comes to mind. She's one of our members here at our 630 class.
Yeah,
and her and her husband are from like South Africa.
Okay.
I think, or they lived in South Africa for a while. And anyways, she hadn't really had an opportunity to shoot a gun before, and so this was like her first time shooting, and you could tell that she was shaky at first, like nervous, shaky. And by the end of it, she was looking confident and doing the things well. So that was pretty rewarding to get to see.
That's what Tony Pignato took me out, asked me to come out to the Staccato range. There was a pretty famous person that was going to be there that weekend, and had never shot a gun before and all that stuff. So I got her there and I was like, all right, listen, this is what we're going to do first. And like, we learned the safety things, like, hey, point it this way, do that. And I was like, I put 10 rounds in the magazine. I was like, and it was an AR, which, if you're standing close to somebody with an AR, like you're a grab away from keeping the muzzle where it needs to be, so it's safe. And I was like, we're just going to get all the jitters out right now. I was like, there's 10 rounds in there, so you're going to aim at the berm and just send it. And I was like, just pull on that trigger and play her out. And she did it. And then, of course, when she was done, saw I grabbed the gun. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And then from there on out, she was completely comfortable with everything happening. But sometimes getting rid of those jitters is like, that's not something you do in a class. Right. If you're like one-on-one with somebody.
That's smart.
It just like, it gets all of the jitters out. And then like always right when you first meet somebody, there's like a little bit of awkwardness. awareness, or at least for me there is. So like as soon as they start laughing and like having a good time, all that
It lines up. Yeah, that makes sense.
Then it's easy because they're not scared of the gun anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And they realize like, oh, I can do all this, and nothing happened, and my arm's still intact.
Mm-hmm.
This recoil didn't hurt. Yeah.
Right.
But splitting the class up, so y'all worked on like fundamentals.
Yeah.
You kind of treated it like a dry run for your women's class that you have coming up.
Yeah. So starting from literally ground zero, like never touched a weapon before, how to safely shoot it.
Yeah. And then on our side, we did the aggregate that is, what's it?
Throttle control.
Throttle control.
Yeah.
So basically, learning how to train. And what I've always tried to do when I'm teaching classes is I teach people how to go home and train. Like I'll correct the fundamentals of, if I see some fundamental stuff, I'll correct those and stuff and get you shooting in a good position. But then I want to teach you how to go home and get better by yourself at home. And so we spent most of the time like, all right, and I legitimately had read that stage for the first time, like standing there. I was like, all right, so this is how I'm going to start breaking this down. And showed them exactly how I would break it down, why I broke it down the way that I did, talked about like, okay, did this first, you want to find the purpose of this. And then once you found the purpose of this, now you know what you need to work at to get a good time. And then showed them the things that went through. And it's like, all right, running this through in my head, here's where all the time is. So this is what we need to start working on. And things as simple as stepping across a stick, right? Like what we did with you, right? Towards the beginning of when we met, like I taught you how to get in and out of a position, and then explained like, if you do this right 4 times on the stage, you just gain 10, 15 seconds on the stage of a 30, 45, 60 second stage. Like that's 20%. Mm-hmm. And all you had to do is learn how to step right. It has nothing to do with shooting. Yeah. And anyway, so that's we went over all that, and I don't think it was incredibly high round count. Y'all shot after I left. I had to go teach, or I had to go coach a basketball.
Honestly, I think people only stayed for another 20 minutes, 25 minutes afterwards.
It's kind of like an open gym type thing.
Yeah.
I think y'all just started shooting the stages.
Yeah, her squad was relatively done.
Yeah.
Once we took the photo, they think they went back and did 5 to 10 minutes more stuff.
Yeah.
And then they were cooked. And then everybody else on your side was there. I think everybody did the drill 2 or 3 more times.
Yeah.
I filmed Josh doing it 4 or 5 times, and then they wrapped up, and then me and her stayed.
Most of the drills that you guys were doing were like 1 round or a couple of rounds. So that makes it really
I don't think round count was over. I don't think round count was over 175, 200.
No, I don't think it even was maybe over 100.
Yeah. I mean, it was very low.
They probably got pretty close to the over 70, probably under 120.
Yeah.
Everybody's was a little bit different because as soon as we started going over that stuff,
and
then realized like, man, a little portion of this is actually shooting. You'd be surprised how many were standing there, like learning how to go through the stage and stuff like that. And anyway, got into my face. I got really good feedback. Who knows what they're saying behind my back?
But, the emails were great feedback.
So, and I think it's always the first time that your eyes are open. Like I remember when I first started shooting with like Garrison and Justin and Aaron and Steve and Daniel, like those guys. And I saw how they were practicing. I was like, why are you guys practicing like this? Like, well, let's set up a 3-gun stage. Why aren't we setting up the 3-gun stage? Let's run a 3-gun stage. And they're like, no, man, like we're learning how to step across the wall today. And we're going to run this 1,000 different times with a timer and figure out how the fastest way to get from here to here is. And from here to here was like 3 steps. It's like you test things like, all right, going across the wall, if I tilt my muzzle up and go back down, or do I tilt my muzzle down and go back to the target? Which one's faster? And then you'd run it a couple times different ways, figure out which way is faster. There's all those things that we were learning with the shot timer. And that's what one of the utilities of a shot timer is. I don't use one much, but when like I'm trying to learn how to do something, the timer tells you the way you need to do it. So,
right.
Anyway, but the first time you get experienced, like exposure to somebody who knows what they're doing, the way that they're training is completely different than like when you came here the first time and you were bored out of your mind for 3 weeks training with me. And I was like, this is it. Like you want trophies? This is how you get trophies.
Yeah.
You want to go have fun? Continue sucking for the rest of your life. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Continue prancing around the pitch.
Yeah. But you eventually get to the fun stuff. Like towards the end, I mean, we do a lot more of the fast stuff now, but still, we start the lion's share of what we do is not fun. I mean, it's fun, but it's not the exciting stuff.
It's not sexy.
Yeah.
I find it fun, but it's definitely not glamorous.
Yeah. That's when you can, honestly, there's a couple of things that I can tell them almost immediately that you're dealing with somebody that's going to be really good, or if you're dealing with somebody that's just always going to have a good time, is how focused they get on the stuff that's about to be very boring and enjoying that process instead of just like, hey, let's just do this and, let's shoot that down. Let's run stages. So anyway, but I think the main takeaway is I know that they all left eyes open to a whole different way of training. And, you can cut years off of somebody's learning curve once they realize like, oh, this is it.
Right.
When they say basics, master basics, they're not lying. Like
right.
They stand here and they master basics.
Right.
So, but yeah, we went over. Josh has competed quite a few times. There's some people there. Brandon, I don't know how many times Brandon's competed.
3 or 4, I think. Yeah.
And we went over how to set up your sling on your right thing.
Yeah.
Like how to step across a stick.
Yeah.
How to approach the targets speed.
First round hit after getting into a new position.
Yeah. So, and we didn't even we covered 20% of it maybe. But
oh yeah.
I guess the structure of the class, like for the future, the way the structure of the class is going to go is we're just going to pick something that we're going to work on that day, just like we normally do. And maybe grab a barricade, work that barricade, go over all the different positions on the barricade, how to use your sling, how to do all that other stuff, and get some implements out there so they get exposure to working with the implements and how that changes things. So
yeah.
So anyway, but your women's class coming up. Can you talk about that? Yeah,
end of March.
I asked you the other day, I was like, hey, can you help me write an email? Like I gotta send emails out and stuff for you. Like, can you help me write it? 80-20 rule, Jenay. She's like, what does that mean? I was like, it means it doesn't have to be like a dissertation written perfectly. Like 80-20, just get it to me like stat. Just 3 days later. It's like, God bless. It was effing perfect.
Yeah,
by the way.
either incredibly thorough and detailed, or
all the ladies that are listening.
Oh, you were thorough and detailed because you sent me the thing and I was like, oh,
I need to sit down and read this. Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
That you have written.
Exactly.
I am dyslexic as fuck. So
you need a tab to read out loud or something.
No, I have an app to read stuff for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the everything that you wrote out is very good. Few things like I told you about my functions. I normally teach people about my functions. But other than that, everything looks really good. And it's kind of I have a YouTube channel for people that don't know that. It's a very small YouTube channel.
For the record, I sent someone your videos the other day.
Yeah. There are some very good videos on there that
there are
people should probably listen to. Nobody tells anybody that stuff, but that's not a plug for that. This is a plug for is one time I got a comment on my thing. I was like, that's probably the most honest comment I've ever got in my life. And it makes I respect this comment because it was the comment was something like, this was very bland for the first minute and a half, and I almost clicked off of it, but I'm really glad that I didn't.
I read that comment.
Yeah.
This was the video that I sent
Yeah.
to someone, and I read it and laughed.
Yeah.
I think I
And-
liked it.
Because it was almost like they were basically saying like, this is really fucking boring for like 90 seconds, but I'm really glad I stayed for the last 10 minutes. And the thing is that there are very few people that can be editing, entertaining, all this other stuff on camera, and able to perform on a high level nationally, right? And it's like, so I can go to a 3-gun match, a sniper challenge, a 3-gun. And I can perform, maybe not like the 3-gun stuff as much as anymore, but like I can go and I can make people nervous still, right? There's very few people that can go do all that and go edit videos and make super entertaining stuff. So that's like when you just said that, like, here's the big, it's perfect because you have somebody that actually knows what they're doing, knows what they're talking about, is going to teach a great class. And it's much better than the Instagram influencing tactical training nerds out there that teach questionable material and very old ways of doing things. But they can market really well. And this isn't one of those classes. This is a class where you're getting somebody that knows what they're doing and knows what they're talking about. And you will be years ahead coming to the class. And I strongly suggest, if you're female, to come to it. So there's your
Thank you.
promotion.
I will follow through with that. Like, I will live up to that hype.
Yeah.
I
So
know it.
anyway, class.
If she just follows her dissertation, she'll be great.
Yeah.
That
I
she
knew-
sent out to everybody.
I knew 100% Jenay was ready this year to teach her own stuff because I had a conversation with her out because like we were training together, and I had a conversation with her and I was like, hey, listen, we're at the point now where we are training together and I'm not teaching you anymore. Like, we're kind of like, if you notice something while we're doing it, go ahead and let me know because we're kind of there now. Like, I need you to tell me what's going on. Like, hey, I think this might be faster. Like, let me know. Or this might be a better way to do it. So it's more of like training together instead of me teaching. And that's when you know that you're getting ready, because it's, and I explain like the self-discovery point is when you get to a spot where the teacher isn't teaching anymore. Like, if I see something, I'll say it, but like, you get to a point where I've taught you I've pushed you as far as I can push you teaching, and now you have to take what you've learned and then turn that into your own thing, your own style. And I think that is when you're ready to teach.
Yeah.
Is when you have learned how to do something to the point where now you've learned it and you're like, hey, I think that this, if I change this just a little bit this way, it's better. Because now you've mastered it and now you're making it your own. Now I think that you can teach a class. And for anybody looking to shop classes or weekends of shooting stuff, those are the kinds of instructors that you need to be finding, are the ones that have reached a level and are ready regardless of what kind of class it is. So Jenay's class is a steal.
What day is your class?
March 29th, which is a Saturday, and March 30th, which is a Sunday. The Saturday is like fundamentals. If you've never shot a gun before, then you will learn how to do that safely, effectively. If you have shot a gun a little bit, but maybe you aren't feeling 100% confident in your ability to be safe on a range, know how to go out there by yourself and take care of business, then you will still learn a lot from that day. And honestly, I included a lot of stuff that like I thought I knew the basics early on. Like, I knew how to be safe, but I wasn't doing things well with the fundamentals. And I included a lot of stuff that specifically I might have breezed over at the beginning, but was really integral to building a solid base. So later on, I had to go back and relearn those fundamentals. And then day 2 is a little bit more high scale, like just building on those fundamentals. So it is required that you have great safety competency coming into day 2 to participate in those drills for the safety of everyone in the class, right? Like, I can't, that takes more time to teach. So building on those skills, it's like reloads and movement and more of like action shooting style drills, and learning how to improve your pistol speed and accuracy and that sort of
So I did get a question. If I'm not looking to compete in tactical games, but I do want to learn to shoot a gun, can I still come to you day 1?
Yeah, absolutely. It is not tactical games centric at all. Day one is literally applicable to anything that you want to do with a pistol. So
And it's,
yes.
I think it's important to note on that let's say you got, I'm going to say fifth because I have no idea who got fifth in the women's division at nationals. Right, even second, third, because I know who that is. But second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th at nationals. No matter what level you are at shooting, being there and listening to, like, I think I was either the first or one of the first people that Hebner came and spent time with. Like, he was here for 3 days.
Yeah.
Whatever. If Hebner put on a class in Kansas teaching tactical games stuff, I would go to Hebner's class and listen to his class, even though I was the one that taught him first for the first. I'm not claiming I taught him the whole way through, but like, I was the first, I think, that he spent 2 or 3 days with and really got a handle on things. Because now I want to go see what he's doing.
Right.
Because he might be doing a couple of things a little bit different than me, and I might like what he's doing because he's figured it out now. Like, he's hit that self-discovery part, and like, I'd like to know how he changed some things.
Right.
And so that first day, like I mentioned before, a lot of times people will start teaching beginner classes because they're not qualified to teach advanced stuff, right? And it's not often that you have somebody with your pedigree in shooting that is teaching a beginner's class, right? So that class is just as important for somebody that is hoping to break the top 10 in the nationals as it is for somebody that's never shot a gun before, right? It's because even when you can hear, you thought you had the fundamentals down really well.
Yeah, that's
so
what
we
I'm
spent
saying.
like 3 months relearning how to hold a pistol and
How to, like, yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't take 3 months, but it was like I look back and be like, hey, after you shoot the gun every time, you're going like this. Stop that. And so it's very important. But day one, just to clarify, you kind of breeze over just a little bit. Day one is beginner type stuff, but not only for beginners. It's just like, if you've never shot a gun before, come on out.
Yeah,
You'll be fine.
You'll be fine. If you have shot a gun before or you're competing at high level, there's still stuff you're going to learn that day. Then day two is a build on day one that is based around people that are more advanced in shooting. So if you can't make it to day one and you are an advanced shooter, still come to day two. Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's really nobody else competitor wise out doing this stuff right now. So especially nobody else that's got her pedigree. So there better be some dudes out there trying to figure out how to get in this class, but you're not invited.
It wasn't Gabe, one of our friends, said like he's gonna put on a wig or something.
Yeah.
So one of our last ones, yeah. I think I'd taken a couple of my girlfriends out to shoot, and he was like, "I'm gonna show up with a wig next time."
Because I mean, I tell people I don't teach, like, period. And I mean, I guess I taught it for this thing, but like,
that was rare though. I don't think I've ever seen you teach like that.
It wasn't necessarily teaching though. It was like, hey, this is what Jenay and I do on a drill, or this is what I do on a drill, and this is the goal of what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
And then let's all go run it. It wasn't necessarily like hey, stand this way, look, do this.
I did that a little bit at the beginning.
Oh, did you?
Just, like, tighten up some stuff.
Yeah.
But I saw something that was like blatant. There's a couple of people, even a couple of people that one of them had come to the athlete camp, I think. It was a guy or a girl and her friend. Brandon brought her. She's down from
Laura Howard.
Yeah, Laura Howard. She looked really familiar, and I terrible with names, so I'd seen her before. And she was at the athlete camp, I think. But she trains with Bill Corcoran. And anyway, I showed her some stuff with holding a rifle, and she was like, "Why hasn't anybody told me this before?" I was like, "Well, I'm sorry, I missed it the first time, but this is going to be way easier to shoot this gun like this." And so we did tighten up. Whenever I saw something like that, I tightened it up. But yeah, it's, getting back to it, like Gabe, Cody, Josh, there's a lot of people at the gym that I've known for a long time, and I probably by now should have gone out and spent some time with them. But like, it's not that I don't enjoy teaching, it's I don't have a lot of time to go do that stuff. And when I do go, I like shooting. So I want to go shoot. I don't want to teach people how to shoot.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, it's a great opportunity, and people need to take advantage of it. And you know, it's not often, if you go look in other sports, where people are willing to teach. You know, where people are willing to teach potential competition in the future. So, come take advantage of it. Come hang out. Are you going to do workouts in the morning or no?
As of now, no.
As of now, no. Okay. So,
In the future classes, I think that's something that we could incorporate. But given that this is the first of its kind for me, I wanted to stay focused on the main thing right now.
But yeah, come take advantage of it. It's a super, super good price for what you get. So
to reiterate, her women's only pistol course is 2 days, March 29th, March 30th. Our next training day is March 15th. Should come to that as well. You guys got anything else?
what's the difference between Jenay's training and training?
Jenay?
Mine is going to be women's only, very much more of like an instructional sort of thing versus the training days. Just like you said, like we're going to do these drills together. If I see anything blatant, I'll say it to you. But we're there to train together on a training day.
Yeah. Yep. And I would say that we're being a lot more specific on the training days. Like we're going to pull out this barricade and we're going to do this, and then we're going to work a little bit on this.
Sometimes you got to go to class to figure it out.
Yeah. So just breaking down stuff, being more specific, hitting different things that we work on, stuff like that.
True. Yeah. And the pistol course can be a lot more broad.
Yeah.
Pistol course is also not necessarily tactical games based or focused, and what we are doing is relatively tactical games based.
100%
tactical games. Yeah. But like I explained to a couple of people that were there, because I asked a couple of people in the gym, are you going to compete? I'm like, I don't know. I just want to come shoot guns.
Sure.
Like, well, honestly, these drills are amazing for learning how to shoot guns and transfer between and stuff. Like that's why Gil made these drills because they encompass a lot of skills in a short amount of time. So anyway, come to the class, get learned.
All right. We will see you guys next time.